What is self love to you? Do you really love yourself? Or are you going out here halfway loving yourself, expecting people to love you fully? Let's get into it. So, I want to talk about self love. And I'm not talking about the self love that glorifies our flaws. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't accept all the flaws about yourself. I'm talking about self love with a heart posture of self love. And I want more people to understand this, that self love is not what comes out of your mouth. Self love is a vibration, a frequency that warrants the things that you truly believe in. It warrants the love that you desire. It warrants the relationships you desire. It warrants the job that respects who you are as a person. It warrants everything about you. It's ultimately true authenticity. And I want more people to start to understand that when you love yourself fully, everything around you embodies the love that you have for yourself. So, as a person, and I'm not going to go too deep into who I believe I am, but I have grand discernment. Imagine that you come into contact with people like me who can see your heart posture and who can understand your heart posture regardless of what comes out of your mouth. For me, that's deep. And that to me, being seen in such a vulnerable way by certain people in this world would make me not want to fake self-love. Does that make sense? And I think it's interesting because I was in a place before where I believed that whatever I said about who I was and who I thought I was true, not realizing that my heart posture still had some insecurities. My heart posture still had some things about myself that I wasn't necessarily trying to unpack. I had buried it away and I didn't want to deal with it. And I'm like, hey, in life, we got to just keep going. But the purpose of life is to delve deeply into who we are and figure out who we are. And I think the Oracle from The Matrix is such a good example when she offers him a piece of candy and he's like, you already know what my answer is. So why are you offering it to me? And she tells him, it's not about that. It's about figuring out why you made the decision that you made. It's the unfolding of life to get to the place where you understand who you were when you first got here. That's ultimately what self love is in my eyes. And the confusing part that I think that a lot of people go out into this world and do is that we may half love ourselves. We may have some things that we are extremely insecure about. We may have some things that we don't really like about ourselves. We may have some ways that we say, this is just who I am. And I want to challenge people, the very minute that you start to work on that, the very minute that you put an emphasis on bettering who you are as a person, don't you feel like you would warrant those type of situations? And if you don't want to work on that to get to a full embodiment of who you are, to self-love yourself 100%, do you really deserve a person to love you 100%? It's a completely different perspective, and that's what Lavender Elephant is to open our minds to different perspectives and to understand that if I don't fully love myself, how can I demand that from somebody else? How can I want somebody to love me fully and say, you better love all of this and love who I am without fully loving myself first? And whatever it takes and whatever work it has to take for me to get to the place where it doesn't matter what you think. I love me. I'm coming into the situation whole, and you accept me as who I am because I accept me. I have forgiven myself for everything that I've done, that I've gone through, for the things that I did not know. And now I want somebody who loves themselves fully. I want somebody who is wholly who they are. I think too many people are going out into the world and searching for love for completion. They're starting a situation or relationship or friendship at 50% self-love, and they're expecting somebody to 100% to bring that 50% to 100%. And I do not believe that that's the way. I think all relationships require us to go into situations 100% as who we are. And people can say, we don't have time for that. The younger you begin to start to love yourself fully and start to Work on who you are as a person to be your whole, fully embodied self, to where you are so accepting of who you are and you know your morals and values and you know what you stand for and you know what you're going towards in this life. I think we will see a better world. We would see a world full of people who understand who they are and understand that we are love. We are the embodiment of what God believed love to be. And the minute we get to that, I just feel like we'll start to see more fruitful relationships, relationships where that can flourish, people that can build dynasties together, people that want to work through things together because they're whole. So if you got 250% people who love themselves coming into a situation, it's 100% of selves that's not in the situation. So two fully loving people come into a situation, that's 200%. But if I come and I bring 50% and you come and you bring 50%, that's only 100% and we need 200%. So we're lacking in some area to start with. And I just want to challenge you to love yourself fully and understand that some people out here can tell if you don't love yourself fully. And I know that can be vulnerable and I know that can be uncomfortable, but just imagine that no matter what comes out of your mouth, people can see that you don't really love yourself. Or people can see that you love yourself fully. You walk with confidence. You exude self-love. You don't need validation and acceptance from anybody because you already accept yourself and you know that the Most High accepts you. It's so deep. It's so interesting. And I think that the way that I got to the full embodiment of loving myself is by complete isolation and things that I thought that I built for myself fell through and things that I thought that I wanted for myself kind of dispersed at a certain time because I called on God. And it made me sit down and have intimate time with God and understand that I'm still okay without the things that I thought I needed. And it made me sit down, spend time, and get an intimate relationship with God, and also get an intimate relationship with myself to understand that I am enough. I am whole. I am full. I am great. I am everything that God wanted me to be in this life. And it doesn't matter what somebody else experiences of me. I know that He accepts me. And the the beautiful thing in it is that no matter what someone else says, imagine that people that are judging you from a 50% self-love perspective. And that can make you walk and understand that you could be a part of the 1% that does the work to fully love yourself completely. I think that it's only fair. And I think that it is a beautiful journey. And I think that that is what we are ultimately here for, to understand who we are, to love ourselves fully, and to give back to the world who we are once we realize who we are. But we can't do that from a 50% empty cup. And we can't do that from half loving ourselves and just going out here and just putting out whatever we put out. Be encouraged and be excited about becoming that full embodiment of who you are supposed to be so that you can give the world, your children, your family, your friends, everybody that you encounter a full love experience and you don't take from what they may have worked on and what they may have not worked on. You want to walk into a situation and love yourself fully so that you can explain to other people and you can give them a piece of what self love looks like so that they can begin a journey to love themselves fully. I think that is so good. And I just challenge somebody, don't pretend to self love. Don't pretend that you love yourself. If you have some flaws, if you have some things you got to work on, start to work on them. And don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that vulnerability, especially with yourself. Love y'all.